Well, hello there, Libra. How are you? It is so good to see you again. I'm Mary Sue, and I'm so grateful that you're here. Today, we are doing your June general tarot reading. So we'll take a look at the overall energies with the oracle cards, and then we'll move to the tarot for more details. And if you're enjoying the content that I create, I'd really appreciate it if you would consider liking, commenting, or subscribing. I really do appreciate all of your support. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's see what you have laying ahead in the month of June. Starfish spirit, open to infinite possibility, and fellow travelers, support is all around you. Wow. So, it really is this energy of seeing different possibilities in your life, not just kind of like being stuck in the same kind of ideas or the same box. It's really about opening up, thinking outside of the box, literally thinking outside of the box, and knowing that there are people either coming onto your path or that will join you on the path, right? When you take the step to move forward in a new direction, kind of like allowing yourself to see the world, actually literally seeing the world in a different way. And it could be that, there are even people or situations in the past where you're kind of like, maybe in the past you looked at that, you had one perception of that situation or that relationship, and now it's kind of like you're seeing yourself, how the role you played in that relationship or situation, and the other people. It's kind of like opening your mind up to recognizing, okay, wait a minute, I see that situation in a different way, right? It's a beautiful energy of seeing a certain situation that maybe didn't work out the way that you wanted it to. Seeing it in a different way so that you can move forward and look at, in other words, like if something ended, right? And say you were in a romantic relationship and the person that you were with was really maybe into shoes. Okay, maybe they had some quirk about, really nice shoes or something like that. And now you're kind of like out in the dating world or whatever, and you come across somebody, you're kind of like, I'm never dealing with people that are really into shoes ever again. I don't know why shoes are showing up. But it's kind of like recognizing it really wasn't the shoes, right? There was, it could have been anything, right? It could have been anything that they were kind of obsessed about. But perhaps you have gone forward in your life, like you've healed from that relationship, you've gone forward, but you've always had a little bit of a bias against perhaps people that were really into their shoes for one reason or another, right? And recognizing, okay, wait a minute, I'm crossing off. I guess the thing is, you've been crossing off some possibilities because you closed off certain options due to the fact that somebody at one time in your life was obsessed with shoes. Now, all of a sudden, you're recognizing, wait a minute, everybody, every situation is different. So in other words, it's kind of like you're recognizing, oh my goodness, I thought I had to limit myself to only people that weren't obsessed with shoes. Right now, all of a sudden you're recognizing, no, wait a minute. It really wasn't about the shoes. Like you're recognizing the true lesson in the situation that you have learned instead of, the obsession of shoes. I don't know why shoes are coming up. So maybe you do. All right, so let's go to the tarot. We're going to take a look at your present energy, any obstacles or areas of resistance that are on your path in the next month. And then we'll take a look at advice from Spirit about how you can kind of maneuver around these areas of resistance or obstacles. Wow, these cards are like crazy today. So we'll see what we have coming up. See what we have. There we go. Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay. You do have somebody new coming in. So let's see what we have here. It's really kind of an exciting energy because look at this. It's really an exciting energy because I think when you realize that you don't have to cut yourself off of a certain group, right? That all of a sudden, you really do have a lot more areas that you can expand in, new experiences, new adventures that you can go on, whereas in the past you were just kind of like keeping yourself safe. I think there is a little bit of that energy of just trying to keep yourself safe, not wanting to get hurt. So it's kind of like, okay, I'm just going to close down anybody that's really into shoes, because obviously that there's a problem. If they're into their shoes, I've learned my lesson about that. Yeah, you're recognizing that you have actually sabotaged your fears, okay, of stepping outside of the box or this bias that you maybe have just carried very much unconsciously, okay? A bias that you maybe have carried for some time, but it's subconsciously, okay, sabotaged your happiness as far as how you go forward. It's kind of like, never say never. It is a little bit of that energy of never say never. Like, I'm never dating somebody that's really into their shoes again. And then all of a sudden it's, oh, you know what? In that movie, You've Got Mail, I love that movie with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. She says, okay, they're kind of like starting to kind of like each other, and she says, oh, I could never be with anybody that owns a boat. And he owns a boat. And he goes, oh yeah, well then, we can't happen. It's that type of energy of understanding that you have in one way or another kind of like cut off a whole a bunch of options, possibilities for yourself because of this bias, okay, whatever it is. And I think it comes from a wound, either, in your childhood, in a past relationship or whatever. And it doesn't even have to be romantic. It could be that, you live in the South of the United States, and then you went to the North and there was this terrible snowstorm and you got stuck in the airport and all that. And then you said, okay, that's it. I'm never going north again, ever. But the thing is that was a freaky snowstorm, but it's tainted, okay? It's kind of made you biased against traveling to some place where you actually could have a lot of fun. You could meet new people. You could see new things, right? If you never went to the northern part of the United States again, there's a lot of beautiful things that you would never be able to experience. Yeah, so it's understanding, okay, wait a minute. I'm going to open up the possibilities again. Believe in the impossible. I love that. And then someone new is coming. I feel like there's somebody new that's coming on your path, but you have to allow yourself to think outside of the box, not allow old wounds to create these biases that are preventing you from stepping into a wonderful opportunity. Let's just put it that way, right? So yeah, I feel like for some of you, this is romantic. So let's take a look at your obstacle. So you're kind of confused. You're looking at a lot of options, but look, this angel is looking at all of these options, trying to choose from these options. But the real thing, okay, the one is actually over here. Right? Because the angel is kind of like, no, I'm only looking over in this direction. I don't want anyone that wears brown shoes. So it's kind of like, okay, all these people don't wear brown shoes. I'm only looking at people that don't wear brown shoes. But what the angel is not recognizing, okay, you are not recognizing, is that actually, this is the person for you. This is the option for you. This is something that is beautiful, that you would really appreciate having in your life. It's kind of like just having to step out of that comfort zone. And the comfort zone is there because of some wound in the past that is preventing you, okay, from opening this door of other options. Emotions are running high, and welcome abundance into your life. Yeah, this person, this situation, okay, it could be that maybe, you said you had that terrible experience traveling to the north and getting caught in a snowstorm, and you said, that's it, I would never live up north, right? I would never. Once again, never say never. So it's kind of like, I would never live up north. And then all of a sudden, you're looking for a new job, a new career, a new place to live. And then all of a sudden you recognize, okay, I'm only looking at jobs that are in the South. And the perfect job for you is over here in the north. And it's that type of energy. Now, it's different if you're limiting things because of something you really and truly want, okay? Perhaps you have done a lot of traveling in the South, and you know that there's some cities that you would love to live in, okay? That's different. You see the difference in that? Because it's like, okay, I know that these are cities I would love to live in, so I'm going to look for a job in those cities instead of saying, oh, I want to say no to anything in the North because it's in the North. And I had this terrible snowstorm, and it was just terrible, you know. I lived up north, so I've been stuck in a lot of bad weather, but there's a lot of beautiful things in the north, right? So it's about understanding that your abundance lies outside of the options that you are kind of focusing on at this time. It's time to open up. It's time to recognize. And I think that this is something that is kind of like something that you don't actually realize about yourself, that you are cutting off some options because you have some wound that is preventing you from saying, yes, that person, that situation, that is an option for me because it's falling outside of your comfort zone. Okay, so let's take a look at your advice. So it says, this blessing is a disguise and conclusions are within reach. And then travel card, okay, with the Chariot. I think, my goodness, I'm not sure. Gemini may have had these same two cards. Really interesting. I feel like you're traveling. You're understanding. I got to travel. I got to get out of my comfort zone to find the success that I'm looking for, right? Whether that is opening the doors to new possibilities of people that I am willing to date, right? Or new job offers that I'm willing to take, new cities that I'm willing to travel or experience. It's almost this understanding that I feel like there's a situation, let's clarify this. I think there's a situation that's coming up that helps you to see that you have actually been sabotaging yourself. That's the blessing in disguise, right? So it's like, you know, it could even be, this is interesting. It could even be, okay, let's go back to the brown shoes, right? It could even be that you go to a party and you meet somebody at the party that you may have been interested in, except that they're wearing brown shoes. And so you dismiss them. You kind of walk away. You say, no, they got the brown shoes on, forget it. But then you start talking to somebody else, right? And you learn that they were wearing brown shoes because they only own blue shoes or black shoes or white shoes or whatever. It doesn't matter, right? They don't actually own any brown shoes. They had to wear these shoes because something happened to their other shoes and they had to borrow them from a friend or something like that. Like it's almost as if something happens to get you to recognize that you are holding yourself back because of a box that you have decided to believe in, you know, a mindset, a thinking pattern, a belief, and it's preventing you from your 10 of Cups. It's preventing you. And it's almost as if you recognize this and then you step into this energy of, oh my goodness, there are so many more options out there. Yeah, love this. Yeah, you have the so you have the 3 of Swords, the 5 of Wands, and the Hanged Man. And you've been in this energy for a while. I feel like for a lot of you, you may subconsciously know what this, you may consciously be aware of this, and yet at the same time, it's almost like I want to brush it under the rug. I don't want to deal with that. Because if you dealt with this, if you took a look at this fear of, you know, being upset, people that are obsessed about shoes or something like that, if you took a look at that, then it would free you, okay, to not keep your options so limited. Because you could be in a situation where you're saying, yeah, well, there's no good jobs for me. There's no good people to date, right? But it's because you have limited yourself so much that you're preventing other options from coming in that would really and truly bring you to your 10 of Cups. And it's really because of your past fears or wounds that have stepped into this. And so look, I feel like you have a little, you're stepping, Gemini had a little bit of a similar energy about just getting their feet wet. It's about understanding, okay, I don't have to accept in everybody, okay, that wears brown shoes. It's not that. It's kind of like, well, maybe I'll just step out of that mindset for a little bit. I'll just try the waters. It's kind of like, okay, I'll just try the waters. I'll see how it goes, right? But I think you quickly go from the Page of Cups to the King of Cups. You're kind of determined. All of a sudden you realize, oh my goodness, I have so many more options. And because of that, you can move forward so much more quickly. You see, all of a sudden, it's almost this energy of being truly excited about your life because you're recognizing, oh my goodness, I've just been holding myself back, trying to prevent myself from talking to people with brown shoes. You know, it's just that energy. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's pull a soul truth card for you for some final advice, Libra. And I do personal readings, so if you're interested, the link is in the description box below. I'd really be honored to do a reading for you. What can I do to make a difference? What keeps you up at night? What makes you cringe when you think about it, such that every ounce of you screams no more? Where can you create purpose out of your pain? Yes. So this is definitely a situation where you were wounded in the past, right? You got trapped in the airport because of a freaky snowstorm, right? You had this person in your life that only wore brown shoes, whatever it is. It's kind of like recognizing that the two things don't really go together. The real reason that this relationship ended is not because they wore brown shoes. The real reason, right, that you don't want to go to the north, you don't want to live in the north, is not really because you got a freaky snowstorm. It's being really radically, aware, right, accountable, looking at why this is really the thing that you're using. Because by using this excuse, this bias, you're really preventing yourself from so many other options. You know, maybe it was that this person was obsessed with their brown shoes or something like that. But maybe the relationship was just really toxic. You know, maybe it was codependent. Maybe it was, there were a lot of other issues. It wasn't really about the brown shoes. And then maybe, you went to the north and you hit this freaky snowstorm. But really, while you were there, you had some other experience. It wasn't really the snowstorm. You had an argument with your sister or a family member or something else happened. And you're just kind of like allowing yourself to kind of close down some possibilities because of one thing. But it's really not the thing, okay, that caused this wound. It's understanding, wait a minute, I can have a fresh start. King of Swords, Ace of Wands. When I allow myself to step out of this mindset, then all of a sudden I have all of these options that open up to me. Beautiful, beautiful energy. All right, Libra, I'm going to leave it there. I do wish you so much love and light, and I really appreciate all of your support by liking, commenting, and subscribing. And I hope to see you again really soon. Bye for now.